let's talk numbers. What matters must be measurable and measured. And while tracking your numbers, data, and analytics might not be glamorous or always easy, it's essential. Data shows you what's working, what's not, and more importantly, where to focus your time. The good news is that GoHighLevel has a way to easily view your most important metrics at a glance if you know how to set up and customize your dashboard. You see, the dashboard isn't just a landing screen. It can be a command center. It can give you a quick, customizable snapshot of your business. It can show you leads, tasks, revenue, appointments, all at a glance, all on one screen. Unfortunately, most users never adjust their dashboard and therefore never unlock its full potential, which means they're missing out on faster, smarter decision-making. I'm Catherine Ferris, owner of Marketecs and Marketecs Engine, and today I am going to show you how to build and customize a dashboard so that it highlights the numbers that matter most to you in your business. Plus, I'll show you how to create and share multiple dashboards that are customized to team needs and individual business focuses. So with that said, let's dive in and take a look at the dashboards. So here we are inside of GoHighLevel, or better yet, our version called Marketecs Engine. And I am on the dashboard here on the left-hand side. Now, these dashboards, some of them come pre-built, plus there are templates that we can choose from that I'll show you in just a minute. What you'll notice here is these boxes are basically widgets. They're all editable. Everything really about them is editable. You can change where it's pulling information from. You can change the layout. You'll see the different types of charts here. These are pie charts or donuts. These are bar charts. And this information can be switched around. One of the first things to notice when you're looking at this information is the date range that it's pulling from. This is important because it could be saying you only have 5 contacts, and what it's really saying is you have 5 new contacts this week or this month. So if you're not looking at the right time frame, you're not going to have a good representation of the data. So you can see here, if I look at 1 week, then obviously it's very different than looking at 1 year. And this is a demo account, so there's very limited data in here, very little limited information, but you can see the difference just from changing that time frame. All right, so there are a ton of different widgets to choose from. One of the important things to understand is what data is most important to you. What are your KPIs or key performance indicators? If you're using the opportunity stages or opportunity pipelines, then these are going to be pretty important. Understanding how many people are currently in your pipelines, and you can even look at different pipelines specifically. Understanding your conversion rates and the actual value of the people that are in your pipelines. This gives you a nice overview here on a dashboard. Now you can go into your opportunities and look at very similar data, but this gives you the information right next to things like your incoming leads, your Google Analytics, your Facebook ads, website views, contact counts, those types of things all on one screen. And that's where your dashboards become valuable. So that being said, you do want to customize this for what you're looking for. In order to customize your dashboard, you're going to come to this Edit Dashboard option. Once you're in edit mode, at any point you can cancel or save your changes. But what you're going to have the opportunity to do here is you can duplicate certain widgets, you can delete, you can also edit them. So any widgets that you've added, you're able to edit, and it's going to give you the information over in this right-hand panel where you can change the title. You can change the metric that you're looking at, and you have some advanced settings. As I mentioned, the date range is important. This is where you could actually override that fact. So the dashboard date range means it's basing the information on the dates that you put in. If you want to override that in, say, a specific time frame, no matter what the date at the top says, you can change that to be this month, last month, this quarter, last year, next year. And then in that case, I would name it as such. I would say that this is the contact count for last year, if that's what you've changed it to be. And a lot of times it will put in those dates there as well to also tell you that. In comparison, this contact count is using the dashboard date range. So that's the difference between those two widgets. All right, so if we go back and look here at this right-hand panel, you'll notice that we have widgets, and there are a lot of them to choose from, 17 just in contacts alone. Then there's appointments, opportunities, visitor data, payments, metadata. There's all kinds of information here that you can build widgets and customize, and there's lots of little nuances that you can take a look at in there. You can also see different ways of showing that information. So a numeric widget is like what you see here, just showing basic numbers. And you can click on any one of these and it will show you exactly what's behind that number. A pie chart, or a donut as they're calling it, looks like this type of widget. And again, you can click on this and see what goes into that information. Then we have a line chart, and a line chart is going to look like this. I don't have Google Analytics connected here, but it's going to be the data points on a line. Then a bar chart is pretty much like you would expect. Again, I don't quite have a bar chart here either. A horizontal bar chart, this is an example of that. They're just going in a different direction. And then there is a table. This is going to be a table. You can also, this here would be a table. These have a little bit more information and actual data around the content. Sometimes I would want a count of all the leads, and then I want a table of all the leads. So depending on what it is that you're looking to track or what's going to be valuable for you when you first log in, you might put the same data in different types of widgets to look at. All right, so those are our widgets. Then we have elements. This is where you can put in a text box, a headline, an image. You might want to, and I'm going to choose a text box and put in, you might want to put in your company goals, and you could do something like this, especially if you're sharing this with your team. It's great to have all the numbers on there, but they might not mean anything without the goals to go with them. So you create a text box, and now because it is a free floating widget, you can actually move this wherever you want just by dragging and dropping. So maybe you have a whole section about the website and you want to start it with the goals for the website. And you can actually resize these. So you could do something like this where it has the goals and maybe last year's data. It could even have a link to your Google Analytics page if you want to quickly be able to go out and reference that. So that's where a good text box would come in. And same thing, you could add a headline. There might be something you want to embed. It even gives you examples here, external widgets, Google Sheets, YouTube videos, etc. You could add your logo on here while you're already inside your account. I don't know if there would be a need for that. Maybe there's some other image need that I just can't think of off the top of my head. Themes, this is just trying to make it more on brand. You can even add your custom colors. And then you can create custom metrics if there's a certain KPI that you cannot find in here that you're looking to add. Let's go back to widgets and we'll go over real quick sort of how to add a widget. So one of the things I don't see on here at the moment is an appointment widget. And appointments are pretty important. So I'm going to start with an appointment count. I want just a count of the number of appointments that are happening in the time frame that I'm looking at. I'm going to click save and it's going to add that appointment count. All right, then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my appointments and let's see. I would also like a table of confirmed appointments. So this is where I can select what do I want on my table. I want the name, the status, the title. I may not care about the requested or the appointment owner. I mean, all of this you can choose. I don't care about rescheduled. Let's just go by that. And then advanced settings, I want descending, created on, dashboard date, and I'm going to put no comparison and save. All right, and now you'll see that I have a table. Of course, I have no appointments on here at the moment, but let's save our changes, which brings me out of edit mode. And now I'm going to click this year, and I still have no confirmed appointments, unfortunately. But this is where that data would also show up. All right, so that's how you edit a dashboard, add a custom widget, add some text, move things around. Now, over here on the right-hand side, you will see that there are a couple of other options as well. You can clone your dashboard, which gives you this little bit of insight that there are the option to have multiple dashboards here. In addition to cloning, another thing to pay attention to is managing permissions. So if we open up our permissions here, you can see that you could set your dashboard to private and no other team members would be able to view it. The other thing you can do is select permissions. So you could have your admins be able to view it or edit it or have full access. Same with user accounts. So maybe you want to give different permissions to different levels, or maybe you want to make it private. It's rather important to know that if there are certain things you're holding people accountable for, is that you make sure that they actually have access to that information. I'm interrupting this video to make sure that there is no confusion about HighLevel or about how to work with me. If you want to try HighLevel but don't want to waste months trying to figure it out, I have two very clear options for you to consider. If you're looking to build an agency or a SaaS business, head over to marketecs.com/HighLevel. By using our affiliate link, which costs you nothing, you will get the following bonuses. Our Marketecs Engine Core Snapshot. This is all of the features that we install in every new Marketecs Engine user account, and we're giving it to you for free as an affiliate. Our onboarding guides and access to our private community. An invitation to join our weekly live office hours, where I personally will answer questions and even share tips that I've learned throughout the week. And I'm constantly learning. There is so many new features and things to learn in this industry as a whole, not to mention within the HighLevel platform. Plus, we'll give you our additional templates, checklists, and migration guide. That's option number one. Option two is if you are a business owner just looking to improve your own tech stack and you don't want to do it alone. You would like a trusted strategic partner in your corner that speaks the language, brings you time-tested automations, proven strategies, and up-to-date learning. Then go to marketexengine.com and book a consultation with me to learn more about our high-level agency, Marketecs Engine, and joining our ecosystem. I am also currently offering discounts on one-on-one consulting to any of our affiliates and high-level users. So whether you're building an agency or building a business, pick your path and let's drive results. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. So as I alluded to quickly here, you can have multiple dashboards. So this example of the sort of default dashboard is not usually one that I use. A lot of times we set up custom dashboards for our clients that usually start with a little bit more of the incoming lead. So this is an example of a dashboard that we usually preload into our client accounts. So Marketecs Engine users get this dashboard when they start their account, and it starts with a contact count. And again, based on the date range. And then it shows this bar chart of when the contacts came in based on the date range. So you can actually see, and this is useful for if you had an event or if you did a specific promotion, you'll be able to see where you had increases and decreases for new contacts. Same thing with email opens. That might be another thing. Email clicks is going to look very similar. You want to track those things and watch them. Then there's the lead source report. So how people came in to the pipelines. Then we usually track our Google Analytics because we do connect those, business profile, ad reports. And if you're using tasks in HighLevel, then we will usually put this metric on here as well. So this is an example of one dashboard that's a little more customized, a little less pipeline heavy, a little more contact and email focused. Another example, which is similar with a little bit different data here. So again, we have contact counts and open emails and clicks, lead source report, Google Analytics, and Facebook ads report. So this one doesn't have your task list on it. And then on version 3, we have the number of contacts and email opens, clicks, Facebook ad reports. Then we add some of those opportunity stages and pipelines all on the same page here. The funnels, and this is where, like I said, you could duplicate it. So you could look at multiple funnels at once. So maybe you want to look at the lead gen, and then you want to look at the marketing right side by side. This is how you could look at each one, is by having multiple funnel widgets on there at once. Then lead source, Google Analytics, profile, and ads. So just examples of how you could actually edit the information here, remove information, add new information as it pertains to what you want to know. And then one other feature that I sort of like to highlight here is the quick filters. The quick filter is actually where you put filters on. So tags would be a pretty popular example. And I'm actually going to do that again for you. So under quick filters, you click add a quick filter, and you can actually choose which data source do you want. Right now I have contacts and emails in here. So under contacts, I can choose tags because I want to be able to filter my contacts by tags is basically what I'm saying. And I'm going to add that. And when I apply, what I now get is this little filtering option where I can actually look at this data specific to contacts with a specific tag. So this is building your own filters for your dashboard. And I feel like that little quick filter option is maybe not quite as intuitive as some people might like, but with a couple of clicks, being able to filter by tags. And then once you kind of understand how that works and you look at the other options here, you can add you can actually add another filter option here. So again, if I do contacts, maybe this time I want to be able to filter by country. You can see now that I've got a country filter and a tag filter. I will apply, and now you can see that I can actually filter my contacts by country, so by United States, versus if I was looking at anyone in Afghanistan, it's now going to say no contacts, and then I can clear. If I wanted to filter by tags, let's see, I know I was playing with this one for another tutorial. I can filter by anyone that has that particular tag. And then to remove it, I click clear and apply. So you can see how that even changes the information on here. So you have this option of creating your own filters, setting your date range, editing your dashboard, and then even creating multiple dashboards. All right, so that's how you create custom dashboards, but you don't always have to do it from custom. There is an add dashboard feature here. And from here, you can create a blank one. You can clone an existing, but there's also a template library. Now, you can save your own dashboards as templates, but if you look here, there are templates that you can add from the library for different purposes. This one was the call tracking dashboard. And you can see here that it's already built out with the widgets that are thought to be important for call tracking. Loading up these templates often makes really good sense, and then you just use them over a week or two and see which widgets do I want to get rid of, which ones don't matter to me, which ones should I edit or add to these dashboards to make it easy. So the call tracking dashboard, and now if I click my drop down, you'll see that it's in my list. I can add another dashboard from my library. Let's go with customer communication dashboard template here. All right, here's my customer communication, and I'm going to change my date range just to see if I get any data on here. All right, channel insights, last message distribution, so email versus activity. Unassigned conversations, that's what they all are, total unassigned conversations. Let's add one more custom or one more dashboard template. Let's go with lead attribution. All right, here's the lead attribution dashboard from template. And let's see, we'll go with this year. And this was total contact count until today's date. So this is total. So that's another way to fill in that filtering option. Contacts by tags, contacts with email, without email, with phone, without phone. I could see these being numbers that could be important. We have total contacts up the top, and then we're looking at what percentage of each do we have. And then activity count, top sources and contacts by source. If this were a traditional account and we were actually collecting leads, this would be really good information here as well. And we often tag based on our lead magnets and things, so this would also be very helpful. But again, I recommend that you load up some of these dashboards, play with them for a week or two, see what your own data looks like in here, and then adjust as necessary. All right, so hopefully you found that valuable. If you haven't already customized your dashboard or added a second dashboard, maybe even shared the data that you're looking at, not realizing other people couldn't see it, then I hope you will give it a try. There are a lot of data options in there. I think the best scenario is to just start playing with them. Like I said, use them for a week or two, see what actually looks valuable as you're opening it up. Which ones do you ignore? If you're ignoring it, get rid of them. Put information in there that's valuable that you're actually looking at every single week. The other places that I often send my clients to look at what's actually going on in their account is we will build smart lists, which I did a separate video on, where you can actually filter your contacts per different actions that they've taken or tags that they have, and then make a list of them that is dynamic, that will change when the information changes. So that's another great way to see what's going on inside your CRM. And there are full-on reporting elements as well, which are similar in information to your dashboards. However, there are some differences, and the reports can actually be delivered to your inbox, so you do not have to sign into GoHighLevel to get the reports, which has its own set of value. So that being said, I will plan to cover reporting in a separate video, but I hope this tutorial on dashboards was helpful, and I hope you'll dive in and start playing with them. Leave a comment below if you have a question about dashboards, or if you have a use case to share that makes your dashboards more valuable. I also hope you'll like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.